Hi all. So this video is for microbial ecology, EMY 4305. Okay, so this time I would like to talk about the topic of soil ecology. So in previous videos, I have explained to you about topic 1 is on the soil and the soil organic matter formation. Number 2, we have touched on the um, the microbes that are present in the soil. And then, so for this topic 3, we are going to talk about physicochemical factors affecting the microbial population in soil. So what are the factors affecting the microbes population? So we are not going to touch on the biotic factors, which are the other organisms. So we are going to talk about the abiotic factors, stresses, as well as the soil physical profiles that will actually affect the population of microbes in the soil. So what are the factors? Number 1, we have light, moisture, temperature, pH, nutrients, and redox potential. Whereas for the soil physical profiles, we're going to look into the soil textures as well as soil pores, how these two factors will affect the population. Okay, the first factors is light. So as we all know, so the location or the condition of the soils on the surface or in deep soil. So on the surface, we have those microbes that are photosynthetic microbes. So, so you can find a lot of cyanobacteria and algae in the presence of light. Okay, deeper down to the soil, in the absence of light, so some phototrophic microbes can actually switch from phototrophic mode into heterotrophic mode. So that they can actually live on other organic compounds. The second factor is on moisture and oxygen. Okay, when we talk about moisture, we talk about the content, the water content in the soil. So water is important. It supports plant and microbial life. Okay, and the soil moisture actually affects the soil biota or soil organisms in two ways. Number 1, biologically, water is essential for life, okay, and for all the enzyme activities and metabolism, and it is a solvent for biological nutrients and other chemicals. Okay, so that is biologically. Number 2, the second way is water is important physically. So soil moisture affects the soil temperature. Okay, so water is good conductor of heat and also for soil aeration. So the degree at which soil pores are filled affects the movement and the predation of microorganisms in soil. So in very dry soil, for example, plants may not be able, to extract sufficient water through the roots because of the energy it takes to remove water from the small pores. And this is known as the permanent wilting point. So beyond which the plant cannot recover. Okay, so you can imagine very dry soil with a minimum amount of water. So plant need a lot of energy for the root to reach to the water. So remember, so the name of the condition is called the permanent wilting point. So we're gonna look into that in detail later. So conversely, so when it is wet, so oxygen does not diffuse through the soil as readily, so the levels available to microbes may become depleted and leading to anaerobic condition. So remember in previous lecture, I've mentioned that the diffusion of oxygen is higher or faster in dry soil condition where there's no water. But if there is water, then the diffusion of oxygen is less, and that is the condition where most of the anaerobic microbes can live, but not for aerobic microbes. But it can be toxic, or this anoxic environment can be toxic to other microbes that they cannot live. All right, so let's see about different types of microbes. So which microbes that can actually withstand water stress? Okay, we have fungi. So let's say fungi, actinomyces, and bacteria. So which one actually can withstand the most extreme water stress condition? So yeah, actinomyces are the most resistant to desiccation, and then followed by fungi, and then finally bacteria. So fungi is more resistant to bacteria under extreme condition. Some bacteria can form endospores, which allow the organism to survive until more suitable condition arise. Okay. And some chemicals may be produced by the cell to allow survival under drought or dry condition, right? On the other hand, actinomyces can actually tolerate drier condition than fungi and can protect themselves from drought by synthesizing the amino acid proline. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the mechanism or the condition where the availability of water in the soil. So, okay, point number one I have explained before. Number two, okay, I think we need to look at the figure here. All right. So there we have three different conditions here: the hygroscopic water, capillary water, and gravitational water. So just imagine you have a plant in a pot where you did not water them for a very long time. So let's say for 3 days you haven't watered them, and it still have a small amount of water. All right. So we call these as unsaturated zone. So where the soil pores, these pores are completely filled with water. Okay. And this is the only water present. Okay. So in these very dry soils, so there is an increment of adsorbed water that exists in an extremely thin film on the in the order of angstrom. So that means this water present in a very thin film around the soil. All right. Okay. And this thin film is actually held very tightly to the particle or the soil surfaces, okay, by surface force until the soil water potential with the soil water potential ranging from 231 to 210 angstrom. So yeah, and as a result, so the water is actually immobile, cannot move. Okay, so therefore it's hard for the plant to absorb the water, take a lot of energy, as well as for the other microbes, okay, on the other area of the soils. Okay, so when we add more water to the soil, okay, we have a second increment of water forms, okay, and as a result of metric or capillary forces. So we call this as capillary water. All right, so more pores are filled in with the water. All right, and so this available water, roots can absorb this, uh, it can easily absorb this water. Okay, and this water actually exists as a bridge. So you see there is like a bridge connecting between particle surfaces, okay, in close proximity. And this actually fill the small soil pores. This results in water potential ranging from 20.1 to 231 angstrom. So lower water potential. So, okay, the higher the water potential, the drier it is, okay? And then the water actually moves slowly from larger to small pores in any direction and actually held gravitationally force, held against the gravitationally force. That means the water does not go down, okay? It's just held together, okay? So this is still unsaturated condition, all right? So when next we add more water, all right, to the plant, then the water can then be removed by gravitational force, okay? And then the water can go down, okay? And then so this is called free water potential, or free water, okay? So the water forces is actually going down from 0 to 20.5 angstrom. All right, so don't worry about the numbers of the force, the angstrom number. So it's just to tell you that the drier it is, the higher the water potential. Okay, the lower the water potential, the wetter the condition, the soil moisture. All right. Okay, so the next factors is